I told y'all the other day that the Trump administration was getting hard. Paul, I don't say pause. I'm a grown man. It's getting hard and tough on cities that have homelessness problems, mainly blue cities. They're getting hard and tough on cities that are having homelessness problems, maybe blue cities. But the mayors and the governors of these cities, including Chicago and Philly, feel some type of way about it. All right. So I want to deep dive into this a little bit and have a conversation. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. We're gonna start with Brandon Johnson, y'all, our favorite.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
The Trump administration, Trump has issued an EO to make it easier to institutionalize unhoused people. Do you agree with it? And if not, how would Chicago fight it?
Should you repeat that question in his executive order to do what?
To make it easier to institutionalize unhoused people.
Institutionalize them.
Yes.
You mean to incarcerate them?
It's not jail, but take them if they seem to need treatment, whether forcibly or voluntarily.
Well, look, I've made critical investments within our Department of Family Support Services to work in a strategic and a sensitive, thoughtful way of how we treat those who are unhoused, some of whom have severe mental health issues. So my approach is what we have done, as we have worked within these encampments around the city to find services and support for these individuals. I believe that the best way in which we go about doing that is to help move people along and convince them that these are the services that are beneficial for them. That's my approach. I think anything that you do to force something on someone, you're certainly not setting them up for success.
You are not setting people up for success that continue to take advantage of the system. I'm just going to tell you right now. I already told y'all what it's like dealing with homeless people. I've already told you some of my stories. I've even called my mother and she explained exactly what it's like dealing with people. And it's not even the fact that they are homeless. A lot of times the homelessness is a result of other decisions that they make and they 100% refuse the help. They refuse the services, but they feel entitled to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do and say what they want to say, and they can spit on you and they can say wild stuff to you, and they feel like they should be able to do whatever they want to do when they want to do it without any kind of consequence. So right now there is this raging debate amongst liberal cities about how they handle homelessness, especially with the executive order. Now, I have the opinion that if blue cities had the solution for how it is that they solve for homelessness, then they would have dealt with it by now. But they haven't, and so we're going to deep dive into it.
Local cities are reacting to a newly signed executive order from President Trump aimed at making it easier to force homeless people off the streets and into hospitals. NBC 10's Lauren Make is live in Center City with more on what it means for Philadelphia and South Jersey. Lauren.
Jacqueline, this area where I am right now was at one point a symbol for the housing and homeless challenges in the city. There were tents right here 5 years ago. They stretched down that direction towards the art museum. And now this new order from the president could give cities more options, but it's also raising questions. In Camden County, officials are aiming to get more people services.
We have a van going up and down the streets in Camden and somewhat into Gloucester City and asking homeless people, do they want a job for the day? And we pay them $75 to help us clean streets or parks, provide a service. And we use that job as a way to attract them into getting services.
Louis Capelli is a Camden County commissioner. He's skeptical of a new executive order from President Trump that would make it easier for local governments to commit individuals for treatment who the order says are a risk to themselves or others.
My gut is the folks that he's talking about will wind up in alligator Alcatraz.
Now they're gonna wind up in alligator Alcatraz. Okay. Nixon, I don't usually respond to people with no profile photo because, and I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of grace. I'm trying to give y'all a little bit of time. On August 1st, I think I'm going to have a hard stop on interacting with and talking to. And it doesn't mean that you can't talk into the chat and that you shouldn't subscribe, but I'm going to put a hard stop on talking to people that don't have a profile photo. Because I honestly, in my mind, I think that y'all jerk off in y'all socks. However, Nixon Keith says, question, why do you, Anton, and Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, first of all, I can't speak for anybody, I can only speak for myself, spit on homeless? Now, the reason that he's able to say that is because I removed all censorship here in this chat. All right. So let me just say this right now. I don't know if you're new here. I don't know if you're just trolling. I don't know what it is, but I am one of the most compassionate people when it comes to my own personal resources. Nope, no nonprofit setup, no none of that. I actually go out into the streets on a regular basis and I give money and feed people. I give thousands. Sometimes, some weeks, because I tab to the streets, I give over $1,000 a day. It adds up to being about $1,000 a day. Sometimes I've given over $20,000 to $25,000 in a month in direct money to people on the streets. I feed people every single day. I have volunteered relentlessly, worked weekends with homeless people. I have worked with them on housing. I've dealt with dope fiends, and all of this stuff. I have people that I interact with every day on my path. And that's one of the reasons why it's difficult for me to stay away for too long, because I know that there are people that need some money that I deal with on the streets. So when I see people that say stuff like that, bruh, it's documented. I am on the streets making sure that people have something to eat every single day that I'm downtown. Every day. So when I hear people say stuff like that to me, I know that they're just speaking on the ignorance. I often at time would like to ask them, if they had a profile picture, what exactly do you do for people? What do you do for people? What do you do for people? In order for somebody to really hold somebody accountable, and this is one of the reasons why I said nobody can really hold me accountable, you're going to have to tell me what you do. You're going to have to tell me what you're going to have to show me, bro. I know the spirit of these people. I know that most of these people, 97, 98% of these people, they don't want to be controlled. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to say, hey, in order for you to have a place to sleep tonight, you got to be here before 10 o'clock, before 11 o'clock. It be empty beds that's available for people that don't have nowhere to sleep. They prefer to go sleep on the church steps because they want to get up and go when they want to get up and go. And they don't care nothing about what you're talking about. I know the game. They're going to ask you, listen, this is the game. This is what they told me. They say that you got to ask people for a weird amount of money. Hey, can I get 80 cents? Because I'm trying to figure out how to catch the bus. They know you don't have 80 cents. They know you don't have 30 cents. They know this. So you're going to be more likely to give them $1, $5, or whatever. Right? All of them has got to play. All of them got a game, bro. They don't want to give up the dope. They don't want to give up the heroin. They don't want to give up that boy. They don't want to give up that girl. They don't want to give up a lot of stuff. And so what they do is they choose to live on their own terms, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if you're driving by and say, oh my God, I can't believe that they got tarps up and tents up. Man, they chose to do that. They rocking out. They are rocking out. I promise you, bro. I deal with these people, and they are some of the most difficult people. You think your old lady difficult to deal with? You think your girlfriend difficult to deal with? Go and work with homeless people and see how they talk. Go and volunteer before Thanksgiving. Go volunteer and deal with homeless people for 2 days straight and see how that changed your perspective about life and how people are choosing to rock out here in the United States of America. It'll move you differently. You'll have a whole nother look. You'll turn evil. People that work in nonprofits that often have to deal with homeless people, you got to have a certain type of spirit. You will get angry and you will turn evil, and your heart will start to get cold a little bit because you'll realize that people are just going to be people and they going to do what they want to do whenever they want to do it. Sometimes it's even better for y'all to stay out of the trenches because you got this perception, this rosy perception of how things really are when that's not the truth. You will go into and help somebody and it'll turn your heart cold. Honest to God, you will start a business and go to hire people and try to pour into your community and you'll turn evil. You'll become a villain. You'll go, I remember we bought a house that we was going to put people in. And we were going, it was a house in I'm not going to say what the neighborhood was, but it was a house. And we was working on it. And so we got some stuff that was delivered that was supposed to be installed the same day. That same night, it was gone. Putting up new windows the same night that the windows was removed. It'll turn your heart cold when you try to do good for people and they do you dirty. It'll turn your heart, you will turn into a villain. Some of y'all just need to stay out because you don't even have the spirit to help people because you don't realize that them people is going to kick you. They going to curse you. They going to spit on you. They going to throw the food that you give them and they going to throw it on the ground. You going to give somebody some money and they going to immediately beeline. They not even going to say thank you. They going to beeline straight to the dope man. Straight to the dope man. You ain't got a spirit to help people. You ain't got a spirit you don't even know what it means to really have to deal with people that are less than. You have no clue what it's like. No clue what it's like.
Alcatraz type facilities. I don't believe him. If he was true to his word, sure, we'd love to have additional resources to do what we're already doing here.
The order also tells agencies to prioritize grants to places that enforce things, including open illicit drug use and what it calls urban camping. President Trump today talking to reporters as he left the White House. He moved beyond our camera, but you can hear him answer a question about the order referencing homeless encampments.
Oh, it is. It's right outside. There's some tents. I'm getting rid of them right now. You can't do that, especially in Washington, D.C. I talk to the mayor about it all the time. I said, you got to get rid of the tent. You can't have it.
In Philadelphia, an encampment during the pandemic stretched down the Parkway in Center City.
It felt unsafe.
Drew Murray lives in the neighborhood. He's a Republican who has run for office in the city.
Let's just try it. I don't know if it's the right decision or not, but I feel like let's try it and see how it happens. As long as we do it in a humane way and don't criminalize homelessness, I think let's give it a try.
Murray says he'd also like to see the federal government offer more money to help.
The drug addiction that we're seeing.
We tired of putting money into there. We tired of taxpayer dollars and y'all keep telling people where they got to spend their money. We sick of it, bro.
President Trump signing an executive order this week making it easier for towns and cities to remove homeless people from the streets and pushing for the removal of consent decrees regarding homelessness. The move has since been met with both positive and negative reactions from politicians and community leaders across Oregon. We spoke with Tung Yen, a law professor at Lewis and Clark College, about the ways in which this directive might affect consent decrees currently in place here in Oregon.
President Trump Thursday signing a new executive order on homelessness. It's called Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets. The order directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to lift limits on how cities relocate homeless people and shifts federal resources toward rehab and treatment. It also speeds up funding for states that crack down on drug use, urban camping, and loitering, while also working to improve the systematic tracking of sex offenders. Another key aspect of the order, a push to terminate consent decrees that may, quote, impede the administration's policy of encouraging the forced commitment of unhoused individuals with mental illness. Lewis and Clark College professor Tung Yen says although there may be a federal push to pull back on consent decrees like this, that doesn't mean that states such as Oregon will necessarily make those moves.
But if a state is thinking, we don't think that we think that's too easy of a standard for involuntary commitment, that will violate people's rights. We don't think that forcible drug treatment works. We think it has to be desired by the person. If the state has that particular view, you can take away any sort of limitations that a consent decree in place has, But that doesn't mean that that government will then all of a sudden do what the Trump administration wants.
And Yen adds that although there may not be legal mechanisms that the federal government can use to pressure unyielding states into terminating these degrees, they may pursue alternative avenues.
Then you may get a situation where the federal government will want to try to force states to be more aggressive in dealing with homeless problems, the problems of homeless people.
It's a hard problem to solve because it's difficult to get the people to do what they're supposed to do. The problem with homelessness in the United States of America has nothing to do with the fact that there aren't enough for people. The problem is that people don't want to be productive citizens in society and they want to do whatever it is that they want to do.